Welcome to the Academy of Ancient Myths. While many recognize America as a republic, few understand that the Federalist Papers were written with an obsession over the collapse of Rome. In this segment, extracted from our definitive lecture on Translatio Imperii, we analyze the innovation of Publius and how the Roman model became the blueprint for the United States. Let's look at the primary sources.
Primary sources and academic literature.
The New Republic, Roman Heritage and American Constitutional Innovation. The question of how political ideals and philosophical visions could be translated into legal and institutional principles was central to the founding fathers of the United States. In particular, the declaration of a modern nation as the legitimate heir to the Roman Republic without replicating its fatal errors required deep reflection and an innovative constitutional architecture. The answer to this challenge was masterfully articulated by Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay in the Federalist Papers, 1787 to 1788, published under the pseudonym Publius. The choice of the pseudonym Publius was not accidental. It evoked the authority and virtue of Publius Valerius Publicola, one of the founders of the Roman Republic, whose cognomen meant friend of the people. This designation served to legitimize the constitutional proposal, presenting it not as a tyrannical imposition, but as an act of republican foundation aimed at the common good. It was a clear response to the anti-federalists, who often used pseudonyms like Cato or Brutus to invoke Roman figures hostile to centralized power, suggesting a parallel between the federal proposal and tyranny. The core of the Federalists' innovation lay in their ability to critically analyze the failures of ancient republics and propose structural solutions. Hamilton, in Federalist No. 9, lamented that the history of the petty republics of Greece and Italy was a spectacle of horror and disgust to the friends of liberty and of republican government. He argued that the science of politics has received great improvement thanks to modern discoveries like the regular distribution of power into distinct departments, the introduction of legislative balances and checks, the institution of courts composed of judges holding their offices during good behavior, the representation of the people in the legislature by deputies of their own election. These elements, according to Hamilton, are entirely new discoveries or have made their principal progress towards perfection in modern times, offering the means to preserve the excellencies of republican government and lessen or avoid their imperfections.
Madison, in Federalist No. 10, addressed the problem of factions, which he defined as a number of citizens, whether amounting to a majority or a minority, united and actuated by some common impulse of passion or of interest adverse to the rights of other citizens or to the permanent and aggregate interests of the community. He observed that pure democracies had been spectacles of turbulence and contention, and have in general been as short in their lives as they have been inviolate in their deaths. The solution proposed by Madison was the extended republic, which differed from pure democracy in two fundamental aspects. First, the delegation of the government to a small number of citizens elected by the rest. Secondly, the greater number of citizens and greater sphere of country over which the latter may be extended. This extension of the political sphere would make it less likely for a single faction to dominate, diluting interests and passions and promoting greater stability. Madison concluded that in the extent and proper structure of the Union, therefore, we behold a republican remedy for the diseases most incident to republican government. In summary, the American Translatio Republicae was not a mere imitation, but a purification and evolution of the Roman model. The Founding Fathers, through the Federalist Papers, not only declared themselves heirs to Roman republican virtue, but reinterpreted and strengthened it with constitutional innovations that aimed to overcome the inherent weaknesses of ancient republics. America thus positioned itself as a unique political experiment capable of adapting republican principles to a vast continent and a complex society, ensuring stability and liberty through a balanced and representative governmental architecture.
The critic's eye. Before moving on to modern analysis, we must pause. Who were these men really? What terms like pietas mean? The critical apparatus provides us with the key. Primary text, critical apparatus. Publius Virgil Moro, 70 to 19 BC, Mantuan poet, author of the Aeneid. John Winthrop, 1858 to 1649, Puritan leader, architect of the city upon a hill ideology. George Berkeley, 1685 to 1753, Anglo-Irish philosopher, advocate of cultural transplantation in the New World. Translatio Imperium, transfer of imperial power according to a providential design. Pietas, sense of duty and responsibility towards the divine and the community.
If this content pleased you, I invite you to like it. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss the next videos. Your support truly encourages me to keep creating content like this.